Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my studio. This is Paint with Lovejoy. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you're here for the first time, awesome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you're here for a second, third, or fourth time, thank you so much for coming back and continuing your painting process. In today's painting, this is going to be a Georgia O'Keeffe painting and a bit more of, I guess we would call it an advanced beginner, because we're going to go work on more wet on wet blending and work in smaller sections and move our way across the canvas. So if you are a first time painter, I would recommend that you try some of my other videos geared towards first time painters, get comfortable with the process, and then when you're a little more comfortable with holding the brush and mixing your paint, then try this video, because it might be a little too much for this being your first painting. So with that being said, this is going to be diving into more of the wet on wet blending and more brush control for these Georgia O'Keeffe paintings. So what you're going to see in the description box below is a link to a supply kit. And in that supply kit is all the paint, brushes, canvas, everything that you need to get started painting for this project. What you're also going to see in the description box below is a link to what I call a traceable. And a traceable is a way to get that initial composition on your canvas before you start painting. And you would transfer it using carbon paper or graphite paper. You also have the option that you can pause the video where that traceable image shows up and draw what you see on your canvas. So there's information in the description box below. Whichever method works for you, make that happen, and then pick up the video for the painting portion. With this video and any video that I create, you have full permission to deviate from the instruction. If you want to change out colors, if you want to do something different, it's just important that you actually paint. All right, and no matter what you do today, just have fun, get lost in the process of painting, and just kind of forget about the world for a little bit. So enough talking, let's jump into the painting process. Alright guys, this is going to be another fun painting for my advanced beginners. This is going to be great practice for brush control and blending. So grab your supplies, transfer your traceable to your surface, and as always, make sure you take your progress photos. Now on mine, I did go over my traceable lines with a Sharpie marker for those of you that are going to draw what you see at home. So we are going to start in the background, and we're going to start with just a solid red on the edges. We are recreating one of Georgia O'Keeffe's skull paintings, her red, white, and blue. So we're going to start with the red paint on the edges. We'll do a little bit of black in that center stripe, and then we'll move into the blue. And in the blue, you're going to get kind of the first chance to do some blending and get used to the color mixing. And then we'll do even more once we get into the skull. Now I am using that middle flat brush, and if you are on a stretched canvas, I do recommend that you carry the color around the sides of the canvas. It just looks nice when you do that and hang it on the wall, having that color wrap around the edge. I am using student grade paint here, so we are going to put 2 coats of this on. So if you're using student grade paint, I do recommend that you apply your paint a little bit thicker and do a second coat as well. It'll just make it look nicer. So now we've moved on to the black paint for that strip in the center. And if you need to, feel free, you can grab the smaller pointy brush if that helps getting around some of the little tighter areas. You do not have to use the exact same brush that I am using. Now, as you're doing this and kind of staying in the lines, if you're holding your breath, take a big inhale, just relax, take a deep breath. You're doing a great job, and you're pushing your skills each time that you paint. So I'm really proud of you. So now we're moving into the blue. Again, we're just using that direct blue. We're going to put it on the top, and we'll do one part dark blue, medium blue, and then white on this side. And then on the other side, to recreate the same thing, we'll do the same steps, but we're going to take out that middle step of the medium blue. So again, right now, using that student grade paint, that pure blue paint, applying it really thick to this top left-hand side. And here you can see where I kind of made an angle from the horn to the skull, to kind of the middle of the skull. We're going to fill that in with the dark blue. Then we'll move into our medium blue. And If you are applying your paint a little bit thicker, it makes it easier to do some of your blending when we get into this next section. So each time that you paint, you're learning a little bit more. So you're just building on your skills. So now moving into that medium blue, and it's about a 1-to-1 ratio of blue and white. And we're just going to kind of put a little buffer zone. Again, just observe where you see me place this and mimic that to the best of your ability on your canvas. Or if you're looking at the original O'Keeffe skull painting, you can mimic a little bit more what you see um, from that image. So now clean that brush really good. We're going to move into the white paint and kind of put it on the opposite side of this rectangle here on the bottom. And then we'll work our way into blending this pure white into that medium blue and even dark blue. And this is getting you good practice with what happens when two colors kind of meet together, especially when you're pulling the lighter color into the darker color. So you're going to see me actually wipe the brush off quite a bit. Once I go from the white into the blue, I want to wipe the brush off before I go back to the white and try to blend into the blue, because you don't want to bring any of the darker color into your lighter color. And the more that you get comfortable with your blending, the more this will kind of become intuitive and almost second nature. And here you can see where I kind of took some of that dark blue and just placed it on there and then blended it back in. This is called wet on wet blending. Give that a try if you want. And then we're going to keep taking your progress pictures as we go through the process. But now we're going to move to the other side. We're going to do the exact same process, starting off with that dark blue first, and then we're going to skip the middle blue, the medium blue, and we'll go right into white. Again, just giving you good practice of taking a basically a pure white color into a darker color. Really proud of you guys for painting at home. And if you've been with me kind of since the beginning of your process as a first-time painter and slowly working your way up here, I'm really proud of you. If you're joining me for the first time, really proud of you for just bringing creativity into your life. So please find creative outlets on a regular basis for yourself. All right, so just filling in that area. Again, you are strengthening your power of observation as you watch this or as you look at the original painting. All right, so clean that brush really good. We're going to go into white paint, start on the bottom, get that base in there, and then again, slowly pull that pure white paint into the blue, wiping the brush off as needed as you are doing your blending. And when you're doing your blending, if you are inclined to even finger paint, use your fingers to blend. That's a really tactile, kind of fun way to just get into the blending process. So feel free to do that. Again, remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath really ever. It's not as beneficial to you, especially when painting. So here you can see that we're starting to move into the blue and do the mixture. And really, you're again just getting comfortable with moving the paint together, seeing what the new colors make when you have more blue pigment or more white pigment. Wipe out that excess pigment off as needed. You guys are doing a great job. And going back in with a little bit more of that blue in a few places where it needed to be a little bit darker. All right, so pause that video, take your progress photo. I'm just going back right now, just cleaning up a little bit of that black edge. So if you need to do that, you can. And we're also going to go ahead and put that second layer of the black on right now. So we'll go right below the skull. Don't forget the top section, and then we'll also reapply our red. Again, just kind of get lost in the process of painting. Please try to find a creative outlet on a regular basis for yourself. I do notice that many of my students, as they get into the creative process, they have more appreciation for other things in their life. They start looking forward to it. They feel a little more balanced, a little more stress-free. So please, um, keep creativity in your life. If you end up realizing that maybe painting's not your thing, try something else. Try dance or music or theater, watercolor pencils, watercolors, crayons, anything, but please keep getting creative. And if you have kids, please get creative with your kids. Pass this skill on to them. All right, so again, take your progress photo. You can fully let this dry if you want. You don't have to. We are going to be moving down into still that middle flat brush and even the pointy brush as needed. and we're going to get more controlled with our brush strokes here as we do smaller sections of blending. So right now we're using pure white, super exciting, white on a white canvas, and we're filling in the top portion of the skull. Then we'll be introducing some light gray for some blending. So by putting this base of white on there, we're doing two things. We're covering the canvas and we're also giving us a base to lay the dark gray into. All right, so fill that in with your white. And again, just kind of observe where I'm placing it. And then, like I said, we're going to make a light gray and place this right into it to blend. And we are going to be using kind of light pressure. We're moving down to that small pointy brush. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to place this light gray in the areas that we want it. And then we'll go back, wipe that brush off, and then go back and blend it into that white base. And it is going to change the shade of this light gray a little bit. So if you need to, as you're doing this, if maybe you made too light of a gray, you can make a darker gray and go back and add that or reapply. So once you kind of mix it with that white, it might diffuse it enough that you realize you need to go darker. Go ahead and adjust as needed. And again, you are strengthening your power of observation by observing where I place it and just kind of the general shape that I blend it into. Again, if yours is a little bit different than mine or even a little different than the original O'Keeffe painting, that is okay. You're getting great practice just by going through the process. Now you will notice as I'm blending that sometimes I hold the brush at a 45-degree angle. That helps with kind of blending and it leaves less of your brush strokes or your brush marks. So again, you're going to find kind of your groove, your comfort level at this beginning stage of your blending. And you'll just kind of keep building on this skill. So going again in with that really light white, almost a white, kind of go into this left-hand side on the skull. Then we'll be going back to a dark, kind of a medium gray, excuse me. Now moving into that medium gray and again, placing it in a few key areas and then blending it into the base paint. And here I'm even going a little bit darker gray for that medium gray than I did for the top portion of the skull. This part of the skull is going to has different shadows and a lot tighter shadows that we're going to be working with. So now we're grabbing a little bit of that black, and a little bit of black pigment will go a long way. So we're just again placing it where we want the black, then we'll wipe the brush off and with light pressure kind of blend that back into the medium gray and even the light gray paint. And when you're kind of smushing the color in there, doing your blending, you can kind of stick with little dots that overlap each other. It's kind of like a little tapping method, or kind of maybe a little bit longer brush strokes and that brush at the 45-degree angle, kind of like icing a cake. So you're trying to keep it a little more smooth. So play with both of those methods, see what's a little bit more comfortable, kind of grow with that and just keep working on your comfort level. If you need to, you can turn the canvas sideways if it's easier, compared to me leaving it in the same orientation for this video, but feel free to adjust for what you might need. And if you need to, you can go back and grab a little bit more of that white, a little bit more of a gray if you need to adjust anything. I think I got a little bit of blue from the background into my paint. I did not wait for it to dry. I jumped right into doing the skull. So feel free to do any maintenance that you might need. So again, making that super, super light gray, moving into that middle section, laying the base, and then we're going to go in with that medium gray and black. As you are applying your colors, if you're finding that your brush is kind of shaky, that does mean you're holding your breath. So don't hold your breath too much. Exhale as you touch the brush to the canvas, and that's going to make it a little bit easier. So still using that light gray, filling in a little bit on the right-hand side of the skull, then moving in with the medium gray. And again, if your shade of grays are a little bit lighter or darker than mine, that's okay. All right, so now moving in with that medium gray, again, just kind of placing it where we want it, and then blending that with the light pressure into your base color. Now, as we go through this painting and stuff that I've mentioned in my other videos, and especially as you continue to improve your skills, I want you to remember that as you're up close looking at your painting while you're creating it, It's a completely different viewpoint that you get compared to the normal viewing distance, which the normal viewing distance for things in life are going to be about 5 to 10 feet away. So especially as we're getting into this section and the rest of the video, prop your painting up, look at it, get out of your chair, look at it from a distance of 5 to 10 feet away and assess if your shadows are dark enough, maybe you need to highlight a little bit brighter, and just kind of observe how it's looking from that distance. It does tend to look a little bit better from a distance compared to 2 feet in front of your face. And that is just part of life, and it's the kind of the way our brain is interpreting all the information. Our eyes kind of visually blend it together as we step away from something. That's why everything looks better from a distance. All right, so still moving in with the black here. Again, just observe the place of where you see it going. Maybe some of the shapes, like right there was a little bit darker chunk of the black where the skull was missing. And again, just keep adding to your painting and enjoy the process. You are taking time out of your day to paint, to relax, to forget about the rest of the world for a little bit. So enjoy it. All right, and a little bit of brush maintenance as we move into tighter spaces. So taking that last bit of that light gray to fill in the bottom of the skull. If you are noticing that maybe your brush strokes keep getting bigger, or you're having a harder time controlling your brush strokes for some of these small, tight areas, take a look at your brush. Do you have a lot of buildup on your brush? And if you do, wipe off that excess paint, maybe fully clean it in the water, and then go back and grab more paint of, the color that you were working on. And as we kind of improve your skills and work in these smaller spaces, you're working on your brush control as well. So play with that pressure of your brush and smaller little brush strokes. So here's where the little dots, almost kind of the stippling method, really is effective as you're getting more comfortable with your blending. All right, and then moving into the black, getting some high contrast here. Again, this will look even better from a distance. Doing a good job. And if at any point you need to pause the video just to kind of see a little bit more of where I'm at, feel free to do that. You do not have to keep at the pace of the video that it's currently going. It is sped up a little bit, and I do want you to just take your time and enjoy the process. I'm proud of you for painting and taking time out of your day. I'm proud of you for hanging out with me. And don't wait too long to do your next painting. Until then, cheers. Hey guys, I hope your paintings turned out really nice. I have no doubt that George O'Keeffe would be proud of you. I'm proud of you for painting at home. And it is okay to do this video more than once. You will strengthen those skills and get more and more comfortable with blending and doing some of those subtle transitions. So thanks again for practicing and continuing to evolve your skills. As you're uploading your videos to social media, please tag me at Paint with Lovejoy or hashtag Paint with Lovejoy, or even email them to me. I really like to see your guys' finished results. And then when I post those to social media, it encourages other people to jump in on the painting process as well. So you are a huge help for getting other people to paint and for continuing the success of this channel. So please spread the word. If there's anything you want me to paint in the future, you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment in the comments below, and I do my best to respond to just about every comment on there. Like I said, I appreciate your support. So thanks again for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. Keep on painting, and I will see you for the next painting session. Cheers.